Ever find yourself looking for, I don't know, some fundamental truths, trying to figure out our place in the grand scheme of things? Well, today's deep dive tackles exactly that. We're exploring a really powerful piece from a work called The Ephemeral Self, Truths of Existence. It lays out some core truth that honestly can be quite challenging, but also incredibly clarifying. So our mission today isn't just to, read this quote. We want to really unpack it line by line, see what it means for you, how it maybe shifts your perspective on things, on existence itself, really. What if the deepest truths aren't about potential, but about limits? And what kind of power does facing those limits actually give us? Let's find out. Okay, first, I need to read the full quote verbatim. It really sets the stage. Here it is. Basic truth of life. I have a fragile body that is not indestructible. I have limited time that I don't know when ends. I have limited knowledge that cannot be made absolute. I have a universe to interact with that can throw any situation at me at any time. I have friends and family with whom I interact, but my interaction with them is limited by a perception divide. And then I have my consciousness free will that empowers me to do what I want to do with all that I have. What I choose to do with my time and the situations that the universe had presented in that time shapes the story of my life that matters only for a short time thereafter. In the end, perhaps even my story is but a small ripple in this vast, unending river of time. Wow. Okay, let's unpack this. It hits you right away with some pretty stark realities. I have a fragile body that is not indestructible, and then immediately, I have limited time that I don't know when ends. These aren't exactly warm, fuzzy thoughts, are they? But it calls them basic truths. We often try to ignore them or act like we can beat them somehow. What does it really mean to just accept them?
Well, it's fascinating how it frames them, isn't it? Not as like misfortunes or failures, but just facts, like gravity. Most of us, we kind of live in denial about impermanence. We focus on staying young, fighting off illness, pushing death away. But what if you just accepted fragility? Accepted that time is finite? The quote suggests this acceptance fundamentally shifts things. It forces you to ask, how does knowing this, really knowing it, change my choices today, right now?
Does it make you value time differently? Maybe be more present?
Potentially, yeah. More intentional, perhaps.
Yeah.
Because you realize it's not this endless resource you can just spend freely.
Okay, so from the physical, the body, the time, it then moves to our minds. I have limited knowledge that cannot be made absolute. This feels so relevant now, right? We're swimming in information, data everywhere. But this line says, hold on, your actual understanding, that's always going to be limited. How does that square with the sheer amount of info we have access to?
Right, it's a crucial distinction. Information isn't wisdom. Data isn't deep understanding. And I think what this line gets at is the need for intellectual humility. It's tempting, especially now, to think you can just Google your way to, like, absolute certainty on anything.
Yeah, become an expert in an afternoon.
Exactly. But this quote says, no, that absolute knowledge, it's kind of a mirage. So instead of chasing this impossible absolute, maybe the goal is just continuous learning, being open to the fact that every answer just opens up more questions.
That's actually kind of liberating in a way. Less pressure to know everything.
It is. It allows for curiosity to lead rather than this stressful need for ultimate certainty.
Okay, so we've got our internal limits, body, time, knowledge. But how does this play out when we interact with the world? The quote goes right there. I have a universe to interact with that can throw any situation at me at any time. It sounds a bit like life's just chaos waiting to happen, like you're constantly reacting.
Well, in a sense you are. Think about it. You plan your day perfectly, right down to the minute. And then boom, unexpected traffic jam, sudden storm, a call with bad news. Your perfect plan is out the window.
Happens all the time.
All the time. So the quote isn't saying life is, out to get you. It's just saying it's inherently unpredictable. The universe just does its thing.
Yeah.
So your real power isn't in trying to control every little external event, because you can't. It's in how you respond, how you adapt.
Ah, okay. Control the response, not the event. That's a key difference.
Precisely. Which brings us to how we connect with others.
Right. The next line is quite striking. I have friends and family with whom I interact, but my interaction with them is limited by a perception divide.
A perception divide. That sounds a bit lonely, maybe, even with people we're close to. We assume closeness means perfect understanding.
Yeah, it's a powerful idea. Think about experiencing the exact same event as someone else, a movie, a party, even a family dinner. You walk away with your interpretation, your feelings. They walk away with theirs, and sometimes they're wildly different. Why?
Our own filters, I guess. Backgrounds, moods. Exactly. Your past experiences, your beliefs, your values, even just how you're feeling that day. It all acts like a filter on reality. And their filter is different, always. So this divide isn't necessarily a bad thing, it's just the nature of subjective experience. Understanding this, really getting it, can change relationships dramatically. Maybe it fosters more patience, more curiosity about the other person's totally separate internal world.
Makes you listen differently, maybe. Less about proving your point, more about understanding their perspective, even if you can't fully share it.
That's the hope, I think. It highlights the challenge, but also the unique beauty of trying to bridge that gap with empathy.
Okay, so we've layered on all these limitations. Fragile body, fleeting time, bounded knowledge, unpredictable universe, perception gaps. Sounds kind of bleak. But then the quote takes this sharp turn. And then I have my consciousness free will that empowers me to do what I want to do with all that I have.
Hmm. This feels like the pivot point, the moment of agency. What does this empowerment really mean, given all those constraints? It's the crucial counterweight, isn't it? After laying out all the things you can't fully control or possess, it says, here's what you do have. Your inner capacity to choose. It's not about magic powers to change the external reality. It's about the power to choose your response within that reality, using everything you are, your awareness, your values, your will.
So it's not about breaking free from the limits, but operating effectively inside them.
Precisely. That's where knowledge becomes useful, not as an absolute, but as a tool informing your conscious choices. Consciousness and free will become your sort of internal navigation system.
And that leads directly into the next part. What I choose to do with my time in the situations that the universe had presented in that time shapes the story of my life. This is where it feels like you step in as the author, even if the setting and some plot points are handed to you.
Yes, it emphasizes that active role. Your life story isn't just what happens to you. It's woven from your responses, your decisions, moment by moment. The universe throws situations at you. Time is limited. Knowledge is imperfect. Connections are tricky. And yet, within all that, your choices carve out your unique narrative.
So we are the authors, but maybe working with, let's say, a challenging set of prompts or materials.
That's a great way to put it. You're the artist, but the canvas and the palette are, to some extent, given. The artistry lies in how you use them. It
Wow.
connects choice directly to the creation of your personal meaning, your story.
Okay, this is feeling empowering now. We shape our story through choice, but then the quote lands this final, very sobering punch. That matters only for a short time thereafter. In the end, perhaps even my story is but a small ripple in this vast, unending river of time.
Hmm.
Oof. That could feel a bit deflating, right? All this effort in shaping our story, and ultimately it's just a tiny temporary ripple.
It certainly brings a sense of cosmic perspective, doesn't it? Humility, maybe. But what's really fascinating is how the quote holds both ideas together. It doesn't cancel out the importance of your choices or your story. It just places them in a much, much larger context.
So it's both profoundly important to me now in this life and utterly insignificant in the grand sweep of eternity.
Kind of, yeah. It raises that big question, how do you live with that paradox? How do you reconcile the drive to make your life matter, to shape that story with intention, while also knowing it's ephemeral, a small ripple?
Maybe the meaning isn't in how long the ripple lasts, but in the quality of the ripple itself, or just the act of making it.
That could be one way to look at it. The meaning is in the living, the choosing, the creating of that story during its brief span, regardless of its cosmic permanence.
So wrapping this deep dive up, it's been quite a journey through this quote. We started with facing some hard truths, didn't we? Fragile bodies, limited time, imperfect knowledge, a wild universe, those gaps in understanding between us.
Right, the whole set of constraints, the framework we operate within.
But then, crucially, it didn't leave us there. It brought in this powerful idea of consciousness, of free will, our ability to choose how we navigate all of that, how we use what we have and the time we have to shape our unique story. Agency isn't about control, maybe, but about meaningful response.
Exactly. And that's why this quote, I think, is so valuable for you, for anyone listening. It's not meant to be depressing. It's meant to be grounding. It offers a way to find meaning and purpose within these realities, not by trying to escape them. It shifts your focus to what you can influence your choices, your responses, your inner state.
It's a different way of thinking about control, about connection, about what truly matters.
It really is. It encourages embracing reality, the whole picture, limitations and all.
So here's something to maybe carry with you, something to mull over. Given that our story, your story, is ultimately a small ripple in this vast, unending river of time, what kind of ripple do you want to make today? How does knowing your time is limited change how you value this moment, this choice, this interaction? That's worth thinking about.